first-round games in Buffalo, New York on Thursday and Saturday. The number 5 seed, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Another team out of the ACC, the 8th, Coach Mike Brey's team, reached the ACC Tournament final before losing to Duke. So the Fighting Irish are there at 25-9, and they will meet the number 12 seed Princeton Tigers out of the Ivy League.
Right corner, Vasturia, 3 on the wedge hit. Point, Notre Dame lead. Down and Notre Dame again. Forward pass on over to Vasturia. Drives baseline, reverse layup up and good. A brilliant drive.
At the rim, Bonzi Colson.
Out of Beecham who drives delayed for the posterizing jam.
Hello again, Irish fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey, coach for the 12th time in your 17 seasons, 7th time in 8 years. Your team's going to the big dance.
Going back, Jack, it never gets old. We're excited about heading to Buffalo.
And you had a great ACC tournament. 3 of your guys made the all-tournament team. There's only 10 members. You had Colson and Farrell on the first team, Vasturia on the second team.
Yeah, those guys played great, and what a run in Brooklyn for us. We went for it. We were very disappointed we came up short, but I think we got better in Brooklyn for this next tournament.
And this big week began, it seems like months ago, with your season-ending game in front of a sellout crowd at Louisville with a share of the ACC regular season title on the line.
It was awesome to be on the last day of the regular season, a chance for us to maybe tie North Carolina. Always a tough atmosphere at Louisville. Love how we battled, but came up a little bit short.
That crowd was just intense for the entire game, and that's a big rivalry down there for those fans. Louisville had a 3-point lead at halftime. They built an 8-point lead in the second half, but your guys almost came all the way back.
Well, you're right about the rivalry. When I run into Louisville fans in the offseason, they talk about the games we've had, obviously the number of overtime games, but we came right on back and got it to game situations, but Deng Adele knocked down a big jump shot.
That was right after Matt Farrell had cut the lead for Louisville to just 2 inside of a minute, but you couldn't get it done. 71-64 loss at Louisville, but I thought it made your team better.
Yeah, I think we came out of there with a little bit of an edge as we headed to Brooklyn. You know, there was we had been on a win streak. It kind of gets you back edgy and hungry again.
You know, Greensboro's been in the news this week. Some folks believe it gives the Carolina teams too much of an advantage. Well, Brooklyn just might be Notre Dame's Greensboro. We'll take you to Brooklyn for the ACC Tournament right after this.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners, Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Basketball is also brought to you by Bank of America, Canon, Xfinity, Delta Airline, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Notre Dame Ticket Exchange, powered by Vivid Seats, Nissan, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and UPS.
Your ACC quarterfinal matchup was with Virginia. Virginia's been kryptonite for this program, but in this contest, after they scored the first bucket, you answered with a 10-0 run, and you never led by less than 4 the rest of the game.
Well, there's no question our guys really wanted another shot at Virginia. We've had no answers for them, but man, did we get off to a great start offensively. And for the first time, we played from ahead against Virginia.
And you were consistent, 52% in the game, 12 for 23 from the floor in each half.
We were really good offensively, and we were even better defensively, guarding that grinding pace. Probably one of our more complete games of the season.
And your team's been playing with an edge, and the guy that kind of leads this edge now is Bonzi Colson. Boy, was he good in this one. 11 points in the first half, 21 and 10 in the game, his 19th double-double.
He just sets the tone for us, Jack. I think everybody's toughness and confidence is up a level when Bonzi's in his act.
VJ Beecham loves postseason. He had 12 points, but most impressive, in the first half, he had 7 aggressive rebounds.
He really was on the backboard for us, and that's a key moving forward, for him to rebound for us, because we are playing a little bit smaller longer.
You were up by 6 at halftime, and then you delivered the knockout punch coming out of the locker room with an 11-0 run.
We got off to a great start in the second half. We talked about it at halftime to really get out of the gate, to make them not think they could come back.
You won it going away 71-58. What does it mean to this year's team to be just the second Notre Dame team to beat Virginia in 10 tries?
I think for our guys, especially these guys, they looked at it. We've never beaten them in ACC play, but I told them we've never played them in postseason ACC play. and they certainly were ready to deliver.
Now your semifinal opponent, very familiar with them, probably the deepest team in the country. You split with them during the regular season, the Seminoles of Florida State. You again get off to a great start, hitting 8 threes in the first half.
We got out of the gate great, feeling good about ourselves. You know, when they beat us in Tallahassee, we didn't take care of the ball. That was a key to be good with the ball, and we were very good with the ball.
Mr. Steady, Steve Vasturia, once again, very good in every area of the game. Scored 18, 4-5 from 3, 2 assists, 3 steals, and a block.
He was in an unbelievable groove. Again, as I mentioned earlier in the show, he would look so good in practice and so fresh going up to Brooklyn. I was not surprised to see him deliver for us, and man, did he make big plays.
Now, you broke this game open with a 16-4 run at the end of the first half that gave you an 18-point lead, and Matt Ryan came off the bench to score 8 of his 11 points in that run.
You know, I talked to him that day at the shoot-around and tried to get him moving a little bit, and man, did he react well to it. We need him. He is a weapon off the bench.
Florida State really pressing you down the stretch, but you made 5 of 6 free throws to maintain a comfortable lead in the final couple of minutes. A late 3 by Florida State made this game a little closer than it actually was. You win at 77-73.
We were great against pressure, handled the ball well, and again, when we get to the foul line, we feel pretty good about them going in.
So for the second time in 3 years, you're in the title game.
You know, that is another amazing accomplishment for this program. You know, we're only in the league 4 years, and we're going to play in 2 championship games, but what a great matchup, playing Duke Saturday night.
And speaking of accomplishments, Notre Dame had knocked Duke out of the tournament in each of the last 2 years. Could they do it again? We'll show you right after this. In your previous 7 meetings with Duke, you'd beat them 5 times, so confidence was high with your team.
Our confidence was very high. You know, we lost a tough one to them here in South Bend, but I think we were excited to play against that program again on a really big stage for a lot.
Duke jumped out to an 8-2 lead, but then Colson and Beecham answered with threes, and it looked like you'd pick up where you did the previous night when you hit 13 against Florida State.
Yeah, I thought we reacted well. They did get off to a good start, but we kind of slowly found our offense, and we finished the half pretty darn well.
But you weren't able to shoot it as well as you had in your first 2 games, and yet you stayed close. I thought this was incredible. In the first half, you turned 5 Duke turnovers into 12 points.
Yeah, we are 3rd in the ACC in steals. People, I still don't think, have recognized that because historically we haven't been known for that. But we get our hands on stuff, we get through passing lanes, and that really helped us getting some easy buckets off our defense.
But you take the lead with 3 minutes gone in the second half on a 3 by Rex Pfluger, who's making a lot of timely threes.
He's making big shots for us, and then what he gives you on the defensive end, guarding Kennard, guarding Jackson, you know, I'm thrilled with the improvement of Rex Pfluger.
You go on an 11-2 run. It included a couple of dunks by Beecham. You had an 8-point lead with 11 minutes left.
Well, you know, you're thinking you're going to get that one, but 11 minutes is a long time, as we all know, and they found their rhythm again, too. Having said that, you know, we got it to game situations, and we kept battling. I never thought we'd pull away and win by 15.
I mean, what a game it was. In the second half, 8 lead changes and 2 ties.
I think for the first time the ACC going to Brooklyn, it was a heck of a show. 2 teams gifted offensively, 2 teams a little tired from playing a couple nights in a row, but going right down to the wire. And you got to tip your cap to Duke. They made a few more big plays than we did. Big possession was Matt Jones knocking down that 3. We kind of wanted to crowd Tatum a little bit and make somebody else shoot it, and he made it.
So a very disappointing 75-69 loss, but a really good week for your team.
Unbelievable week. And again, you know, it's hard to frame that in the locker room after that game, but to go 2-1 up there against 3 top 15 RPI teams, I think we got better. I think we created some momentum for the NCAA tournament.
Very, very disappointed locker room. I know you worked really hard to bring the guys back, and you had a little help as the team got a post-game visit from one of their biggest fans, University President Father John Jenkins.
I'm just proud of you guys. Proud of the way you battle, proud of the way you play together, and you got a great coach here, and you just made us proud. So keep it up. As he says, you got another tournament to play, and we're looking for great things from you guys. Keep it up.
Thanks, Father John. Let's get out.
On the final Mike Brey radio show of the season, Coach Brey called Steve Vasturia the finest all-around basketball player ever to play for Notre Dame. With high praise like that, it is fitting that for our final player profile of the season, I took a little stroll with the senior captain from New Jersey.
as you get ready to head into your final postseason here at Notre Dame, are you approaching it any differently than the previous three?
I wouldn't say any differently. I think, especially with this bye week we're having, you realize we only have a couple games left, and I just want the season to go on as long as it can, really.
Farrell now to Vasturia, drives all the way down the lane for the finger roll off the box. Top of the key, Vasturia. Three-pointer on the way and good. Vasturia stops and pops and knocks down the 18-footer. 7-6 Notre Dame leading. He goes into the corner, Vasturia, three on the way. Got it!
The first time you walked in to Purcell Pavilion and you just looked around, do you remember what went through your mind?
Yeah, I remember it's, I never really been, court level or played in a gym, this big. Obviously high school gyms weren't that big, and the first time I think I was just playing pickup on a recruiting visit, so that was a pretty surreal experience.
And Vasturia steals it back. There goes Steve, goes up and dunks it! The first dunk of Steve Vasturia's collegiate career!
All right, we're getting on the floor here, and you brought it up. Huge victory over Florida State. Kind of Bonzi's night, but now forever it's going to be your night. What went through your mind? Because everybody knows in the culture of basketball, dunking or not dunking is a constant topic of conversation.
I had a ton of room, and that's the only time I'm going to dunk, when I got a lot of space, and I was just happy it went in, and obviously I was excited, my teammates were excited, and just a great feeling and a great way to top off a really good win and at a big time.
When you first started playing for this team, what did you think Steve Vasturia's career was going to end up being?
So I hope to win a lot of games. I think when I first got here, I didn't have expectations or concrete places we would go. I knew Notre Dame had a great success before I was here, but just to continue to help this team win a lot of games, and I think that that sophomore year team gave us so much confidence, especially springboard into my final 2 years.
Goes into the corner, Astoria, three on the way, got it!
How do you want fans to remember you?
Being a guy that worked hard every day. Didn't do anything to hurt this program, and just won a lot of games.
What are you going to miss the most?
I think I'm just going to miss, the relationships, my teammates, and coming in here and every day and, seeing them. It's pretty cool being a part of Notre Dame. The guys who have graduated, they're coming back on their breaks, and they're playing pickup with us. So I hope to continue to do that, and just, stay in contact with the program, which I'm sure I'll do.
20, 30 years down the road, what do you think this experience is going to mean to you?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to be looking back on it, all the time, especially after I graduate and finish up here, and wishing I could still be playing. I think this has definitely been for the most fun and exciting years of my life, basketball-wise and not basketball-wise, just the relationships. And I'm sure I'll be catching up with to my old teammates and talking about all the wins we had, and hopefully. Talking about this season and what a great run we had in March.
You get really close with all of your players because almost all of them are here for 4 years, but I know it's going to be really hard for you to see Steve Vasturia leave.
I'm going to really miss him, Jack. Such a stable, steady, what you see is what you get every day, even when he was an 18-year-old freshman. One of the great winners and all-round players in the history of Notre Dame basketball. And he does it so understated and so poised.
This week's Ask Coach Brey question, and a very high-profile member of the Notre Dame basketball team runs the Inside Notre Dame Basketball Fast Break for the very first time right after this. It's time now for the experts at TireRack.com question of the week for Coach Brey. This week's question comes from Chandler Crane of Appleton, Wisconsin. Coach, what is your NCAA tournament strategy in balancing preparation for the first game and then the quick second game?
We don't do anything for the second game. You never assume. You pour all your concentration, mine and our team, into Princeton. We have assistants dealing with West Virginia and Bucknell.
We always say you have to earn the right to run the Inside Notre Dame Basketball Fast Break. Well, after 17 seasons and 16 postseason appearances, 2 Elite Eights, an ACC title, 3 Conference Coach of the Year awards, and earning consensus National Coach of the Year honors in 2012, we thought Coach Brey had earned the right to sit in our Fast Break hot seat for the very first time. Favorite all-time movie?
La La Land.
First car you ever drove?
A 5-speed Toyota Celica.
Favorite musical group or artist?
KC and the Sunshine Band.
Who was your role model?
My dad.
One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you.
You know, I'm still pretty good on the drums.
Favorite place to get away from it all?
Rehoboth Beach, Delaware.
Favorite sideline attire?
You know, suit with just no tie. Anything without a tie.
Favorite post-victory libation?
You know, I'm a Cabernet guy when I get home at night to calm down. A glass or two of Cabernet.
Shaven or unshaven?
Depends on how we're playing.
Best defender on the team?
Steve Vasturia.
Best leaper on the team?
Austin Torres.
Best dunker on the team?
VJ Beecham.
Worst dunker on the team?
Steve Vasturia.
Best dresser on the team?
Best dresser would be Nikolai Jogo.
Worst dresser on the team?
Matt Farrell.
Is there anyone on this team who would beat you in a beard-growing competition?
Matt Farrell, hands down.
Well, Coach, how do you think you did?
Given the fact that I gave a big shout out to La La Land, I'm still listening to the soundtrack in my car.
I think we may show this to freshmen in the future as the way to run the fast break.
Yeah, it was almost a clinic, really. I think our young guys should watch that.
It's time now for this week's Notre Dame Ticket Exchange, powered by Vivid Seats, Play of the Week. So many big plays this week, but this one by Rex Pfluger against Virginia is our favorite.
Good pass stolen by Pfluger. Pfluger goes all the way in for the reverse two-handed double pump jam.
Swaggy Pfluger.
Let's begin our look at March Madness by looking at what Coach Brey calls the Buffalo Invitational. The Irish are the number 5 seed in the West Regional. You take on number 12 seed Princeton in the very first game of the entire tournament, so you're beginning on national TV.
A little bit like 2 years ago, our Northeastern game was the opening game on CBS, but we're playing a Princeton team. Jack, it's a lot like us. Skilled, old, smart, shoot it well, don't turn it over. Very similar styles of play.
How many times since you've been here have you in practice said to the guys, we're guarding the Princeton offense?
We've guarded Princeton stuff with other programs many times. Now we get to guard it with Princeton, even though this Princeton team has gotten away from that and they're playing more motion.
That will do it for the 17th season of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey. We, of course, will be back for the 18th season next year when a certain coach is poised to become the all-time winningest men's basketball coach at Notre Dame. We thank you so much for watching this year. We ask you to send good karma to the Irish as they go to Buffalo to begin another run through the NCAA Tournament. So, until next season, for Coach Brey, I'm Jack Nolan. Thanks so much for watching each and every show, and go Irish.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners, Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Basketball is also brought to you by Bank of America, Canon, Xfinity, Delta Airline, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Ticket Exchange, powered by Vivid Seats, Nissan, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and UPS.